Update. Am I the a-hole for telling my wife that I am tired of raising a kid that is not mine? Original post. I, 31 male, am married to my wife, Amber, 30 female, and we have a daughter, Emma, 7 female. The problem is my wife's best friend, Jennifer, 30 female, has a daughter as well, Harper, 7 female. Well, Harper's dad is a lazy sack of turd and refuses to do anything with his daughter. He's the type of guy that brags about how he never changed a diaper. Jennifer and Harper are usually at our house on the weekends because Harper's dad is drinking and watching sports all weekend. On Saturdays, I normally spend all day with my daughter because I don't see her as much as I want during the week. However, with Harper being there every Saturday, anything I do with Emma I have to do with Harper. Take Emma to the zoo? It's Emma, Harper, and I. Taught them both how to ride bikes, take them both to dance class, take them both to the kids' salon, and so on. Mother's Day was the last straw. I took them both to dance class Saturday morning, which Amber and I also paid for both dance classes because Deadbeat won't. On the way home, Emma asked if we could stop to get something for Mom for Mother's Day. I said sure, but then it ended up I had to buy something for Harper to her mom as well. On the way home, I just kept thinking, why am I buying someone else's wife a Mother's Day gift? That's his job. A few days later, because I did not want to ruin Mother's Day, I told my wife that I am tired of raising Harper. Her real father needs to step up. I'm tired of it taking away time I get to spend with Emma. She said that Jennifer is her best friend and that we need to be there for Harper. Now she is not speaking to me and sleeping in the guest bedroom. So am I the a-hole? Just wanted to add some edits to questions I see. Emma and Harper are best friends. It was my idea to spend Saturday with Emma. I work more during the week, so I wanted to spend Saturday with Emma and to give my wife a bit of a break. Now for the top comments before reading the updates. Not a-hole. If your wife wants to step up for Harper, then she needs to do that, not put it on you. She should be taking her places and doing things with her. Amber, Jennifer, Emma, and Harper do things together during the week. My wife is a real good mother to Emma. It's just the dynamics of Saturday that is my issue. Just start taking Emma. If your wife pushes back, tell her that you and Emma need father-daughter time. She and Jennifer can take Harper to do something with them. Focus on the fact that Emma needs you and needs that one-on-one time with you. Why do you pay for her dance classes? Why can't either of Harper's parents do it? I would tell your wife you all have to talk together. It sucks for Harper. Hopefully she won't see this as another man who doesn't want to be around her, but that is not really your fault. Jennifer chose her parent for her child. She isn't holding him accountable, and she should be figuring it out. I would still take the girls out together sometimes. If they're friends, they might like doing things together, but not every single time. That's a lot. I pay for the classes because Emma wanted Harper in class with her. Harper's father is the type who is, my money is my money and Jennifer's money is their money, and he does not want to waste money on classes. Sounds like Jennifer needs a divorce. Not a-hole. Stop taking Harper. It's that simple. You're having a dad-daughter bonding time and don't want a tag-along. If Harper wants to come along on these things, then make her mother come with you all, but not your wife. I hear what you're saying, but I think spending time with Jennifer and her kid might cause long-term issues. You're currently enabling the whole situation. Jennifer doesn't have to require anything of her husband when you are fulfilling the father role every weekend. Conversely, Dad is not feeling any pressure to put down the bottle and start acting like a proper parent. She's allowing this for several reasons. The first is that Jennifer no doubt finds it easier to just let sleeping dogs lie. Why rock the boat with her husband and expect him to step up if she doesn't have to? And she clearly doesn't have to because you are fathering her child every weekend, right along with your own. So it's not like Harper's really missing a father. In fact, she's double dipping in the father category. Jennifer likely needs a break from her kid and you're the only one offering to take her out and do things with her. It's not like she's even having to ask. It's a combination of you volunteering and your wife telling you that you step up. That's gotta be nice for Jennifer. Endless favors without even having to ask. Again, giving Jennifer a break is what the actual father is supposed to be doing. But if they let that duty fall some gullible do-gooder like you, why wouldn't they? Everyone is getting their needs met by you. Even your wife, who gets extra brownie points from her bestie for sharing you in the father role. It costs her nothing to be generous with your time. I wonder how she would feel if you wanted to share yourself in the husband role with Jennifer. I'll bet the crap would hit the proverbial fan. The bottom line is, everyone in this situation is using you to varying degrees except your own daughter. Your problem is lack of boundaries by your wife. Let her know you aren't up for company every single weekend. And from now on, taking Harper out will be a full family event, involving her and Harper's mother, or nothing. Now for the update. So quite a few people have asked for an update on this situation. Sorry it's taken so long, but it's been a hectic few weeks. As for the updates, Amber and I are fine. Her reaction was based on poor word choices by me, poor communication by both of us, and some things I wasn't aware of at a time. The short version is, things at home were much worse than I was aware of for Jennifer, and my wife had only recently found out how bad things were. Mother's Day was the straw that broke the camel's back for Jennifer as well. She was raised in a you must stay together for the kids family. But when Harper came to me for a gift, she realized that her daughter did not see her sperm donor as a father. So it was time to get out. Jennifer came to my wife to ask for help leaving because she had no family in the area, and Jennifer does not have the financial resources to leave on her own. So the night my wife was going to ask me if we could help her is when I told her I was tired of raising someone else's kid. That's what caused her reaction. The Saturday after our initial argument, Jennifer did not come over and Emma went to her grandparents. So my wife and I had a long discussion about what was going on. That was when I found out all the stuff going on with Jennifer. My wife and I decided Jennifer and Harper can stay with us for the time being. My problem was never with those two. It was that I had to take over for the deadbeat. When we told Emma about this, she was super happy her friend was staying with her. We had a conversation with her that if she wants to have time with either parent without Harper, just let us know, and we do not want her to feel left out of anything. Last weekend, with the help of a U-Haul and some friends of mine, we got all of Jennifer's and Harper's stuff and moved it into our house. The good thing is we have a 4-bedroom house, so everyone gets a bedroom. The bad news is my wife's office got moved to the basement. Wish me luck. We shall see how this goes. Just make sure to set boundaries and have a realistic time frame of their setup. It seems villainous to say this, but the last thing you want is some quasi-blended family compound type situation, dude. It is very sweet of y'all to be there for her during this transition, but not doing so could breed spite in the long run. Not to be an a-hole, but unless OP stated that somewhere, why would that be the default opinion? A lot of people increasingly do want a situation like that. As everything becomes increasingly expensive, it's harder for many families for one parent to stay home or work less. Childcare is expensive. Everything has gotten and is getting more expensive, at a rate that far outstrips pay increases. I mean, if OP and spouse definitely do not want that, yes, they should establish a timeline, but this kind of situation isn't inherently bad on its own. I wondered what else was going on. I'm glad she saw it was time to get out, and hopefully they can all move forward in healthy ways and get her on her feet. Given that OP said that this dude is alpha male type, who drinks constantly and brags about not changing diapers, I really wouldn't be shocked if there has been physical abuse in the background too. Haven't known a single alpha male that didn't believe in beating the heck out of kids and women. You know what's funny? The alpha wolf and wolf packs are usually just the parents. So, the true alpha wolf is a good dad. I think OP's initial complaint made a lot of sense, especially if his wife was not sharing the friend's situation. I'm glad they communicated and were able to help the friend and kid out of that situation. I do hope we don't end up with an update on how the friend won't move out, and now he has to support them indefinitely. Once again, we see that talking is a superpower. Next story. Am I the a-hole for telling my brother I don't think I will talk to him again if he named his daughter Robin? I, male 27, have known my amazing wife, 27, since kindergarten. We always hung out with similar people, but didn't start dating until we were 20. My wife is an identical twin, and 6 months into us dating, her twin sister passed away in a car accident caused by a drunk driver. Her twin's name is Robin. My wife and Robin were always best friends, so this loss has been so difficult for my wife. I'm month ago, my wife had identical twin girls and they both got the middle name Robin. My wife said if we ever had a girl, we wanted Robin to either be her first or middle name. Since my wife and Robin are identical twins, having our twin girls have been so special to her. We knew we couldn't let just one of the twins have the name Robin, so we made Robin both their middle names. So both girls have that connection to their aunt. Well, my brother and sister-in-law are expecting and they recently found out they're having a little girl. This morning, brother and sister-in-law were visiting. Side note, neither myself nor my wife has ever gotten along with sister-in-law. Sister-in-law mentioned her and bro having a name all picked out. My wife was all smiles holding our girls until sister-in-law said we were naming her Robin. The minute my wife heard the name Robin, she looked like she wanted to cry. Sister-in-law saw that and went on about how my wife can't gatekeep a name just because it's her sister's name. She knows Robin is my wife's twin sister who passed. She then went on how it's just a twin's middle name, so it's not like it's weird if she uses it as a first name. I ended up asking my brother privately if they really were going to name the baby Robin, and he said they both liked the name, so yes. I told him it's not right to do that knowing the sentiment it holds for my wife. He said we don't own the name Robin. So I told him if they end up naming their girl Robin, I don't think I can talk to him anymore. He called me an a-hole and left with sister-in-law. I guess he told some other family because they're now texting me calling me an a-hole. So am I? Not the a-hole. No, you don't own the name Robin. But for your brother and his wife to do that, knowing the circumstances and emotions involved, they are one of the most cold-hearted a-holes I've ever heard about here on AITA. I wouldn't talk to them again either, as well as the ones taking their side. Right, it's amazing how deeply some people lack emotional intelligence. Not a jalopy. It feels intentional and incredibly weird. Oh, it's definitely intentionally chosen, given that Opie said the sister-in-law doesn't like them. In fact, sister-in-law probably doesn't like the name. She just wants to use it to get to them and drive the brother away. Not a-hole. It's not a coincidence they picked Robin. I think sister-in-law is being intentionally cruel, and your brother is an obtuse moron for going along with it, and not seeing through his wife's behavior. This, intentionally cruel, and I can just think of how it'll backfire anyway. Just imagine that little girl growing up and learning the reason her uncle and father don't speak anymore is because of what her parents named her. Great way to mess their future child up. Not a-hole at all. There was a similar AITA recently of a woman who was kind of distant with her nephew, sister's son, because he was named after her father and it caused bad memories. The kid found out and was really upset with his parents and said his aunt was hurt by just his namesake. So yeah, possibly won't end well. Not a-hole. What they're doing is deliberately cruel. Of course they can name their child whatever they want. You are 100% justified in going no contact afterwards. How do people reach adulthood and not know that actions have consequences? Last story. Am I the a-hole for buying my brother a present off his wedding registry rather than helping at the wedding? I'm a photographer. Mostly, I do industrial photography. If you have ever seen a brochure for a company, you understand what kind of work I do. I've taken more pictures of warehouses, bulldozers, building sites, and workers than you can imagine. I also do wedding photos on the side. Whenever my friends and family ask me to do their pictures, I offer to do them at a steep discount. So far, everyone has taken me up on it. Let's just say that there is no way they would pay less than 3 times what I offered to do the wedding for if they went with another professional photographer. Twice it was sort of an issue when they objected to me wanting to be paid. One came back and apologized after they shopped around and saw what the real price was. The other chose to get her neighbor's son, who is really good with his camera, to do the pictures. I brought my camera but not all my equipment to that wedding and enjoyed taking pictures as a guest. I ended up giving them an album of my pictures for their first anniversary, and they were insanely thankful. They never said anything to me because they were embarrassed, but the kid messed up. So now the story. My brother asked me to take pictures at his wedding. I said sure and quoted him a price. He said that I should just do it as a wedding gift. I said a price was my wedding gift, but he said that his fiancé also expected me to get them a gift off the registry. I said no. I said I would be more than happy to attend as a guest, then got on my phone in front of him and got a gift off the registry. I said since I had now purchased a gift, I would not be taking pictures. That I will probably still bring my camera because I like taking pictures. He said I'm being an a-hole and cheap since it doesn't cost me anything to take pictures, and I shouldn't try and make money off him. So I countered that I needed my bathroom remodel done, and I want it done at cost of materials since he is a contractor, and it will cost him nothing in labor if he does all the work himself. Our parents are staying out of it because they know I have always been paid for taking pictures. Only my brother and the bride's side of the family think I'm in the wrong. Am I the a-hole? I told him that I needed my bathroom remodel done and I want it done at cost of materials since he is a contractor, and it will cost him nothing in labor if he does all the work himself. Perfect response. Not the a-hole. So Opie, is your brother gonna do your bathroom for you on those terms? But that's real work. Not like pressing a button on a camera a few times. Not the a-hole. Why would you need to get them a gift and give them the wedding photos? Your brother sounds demanding. I would probably skip the games and not even bring the camera for the wedding. The entitlement with weddings is so insane to me. Congrats, you're getting hitched. Not the a-hole. I think that's a fair trade. You do photos for free and he does remodeling for free. My husband's in heating and cooling. Recently made that trade with a friend who owns a landscaping business. He redid her HVAC system since the default construction company for the subdivision completely screwed everything up, even the ventilation. Her company added external drains and landscaping to our place. Now he keeps getting calls from other people in the subdivision who want him to check out their houses, and we keep recommending her when people bring up our yard. Still paid material, and they both get free advertising. Brother should have accepted a deal. It's a pretty good one. Am I the a-hole for not sharing my stepdad's inheritance with my brother? My 25 female dad passed when I was very young, and my mom married my stepdad Lee when I was 5. Lee is wealthy, and my mom never had to work, and I was given everything growing up. The only thing we never received was acceptance from Lee's family, as they were not pleased that Lee chose to marry a widow with a child. Lee and I were close though, and he continued to care for me even after my brother Sam, 18, was born. My mom clearly favored Sam and didn't really focus much on me. Lee's relatives warmed up to my mom a little with the birth of Sam, but I was still treated like something invisible. Sam was often invited to Lee's relatives' houses to play, and he and I are not very close. I decided to go to university overseas, and Lee gave me enough money that I didn't have to work or worry financially. He also was the only one calling or writing me regularly, while I talked to my mom and Sam like once every couple of months during my university days. After graduation, Lee wanted me to come home, but I wanted to work and be on my own for a bit. Then the pandemic happened and I was unable to fly back. When the lockdown was over, my family came to visit me once and left when I preferred to continue working where I am. Lee came to visit me a few more times by himself. A few months ago, Lee passed away from a disease he never let anyone know he had. In his will, he left his businesses and house and most valuables to his relatives. My mom almost nothing, though she can keep what he has already given her. 2 cars, jewelry, and cash of about $60,000 as my mom never legally married him. Sam about $150,000 and the rest of the money to me. It was 7-figure US dollars, a life-changing amount. Turns out Sam is not Lee's biological child, which he found out only recently. My mom and Sam were mad, of course, and demanded that I share money with them. I said I'm willing to put the money in some low-risk investments, and we can split the gain, but it's not good enough. They want at least 25% each of what Lee left me. I argued that it's not like they are left destitute. Sam can still go to a good university if he cares enough for further education, and my mom have enough money to get her own place. And the investments will give us all incomes for the long term. They called me greedy and planned to take legal action, but Lee's relatives told them that they could make my mom and Sam's lives very difficult if they try to give me a hard time and go against Lee's wishes. I intend to do as I promised them, splitting the gains from the investment with my mom and Sam. I won't let them touch the money Lee left me though, because I don't trust them to not go through that money in just a few years. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. You aren't his biological daughter, but the daughter he chose. Splitting the gains is already nice from you, but don't give your mother too much. Otherwise, she will pay a lawyer to sue you. Not the a-hole. What if the roles were reversed and you barely got anything? Would they share with you? This. If OP shares the gains, where or when will it end? Her mother and brother will feel entitled for a lifetime, when Lee specifically left that money for OP. Not the a-hole. The best way to honor Lee's wishes is to let them have exactly what he wanted, and no more. They aren't entitled to what Lee plainly didn't want them to have. That is the best and legal response I would suggest. Why open a can of worms? Just be calm and relax. Just think about why that person left them with so little. Exactly what I was thinking. Based on the post, it seems that Lee definitely had his reasons for doing what he did. Not a-hole. There's a reason you got what you got and they got what they got. Also, good job on Lee's relatives stepping up for you and your late stepdad. Next story. Am I the a-hole for calling my mother a freaking monster as she was having a mental breakdown? For a while, I was a single father of 3 lovely boys, ages 7 to 5. When my oldest 2 were 1, my ex-girlfriend and I split after I found out she cheated multiple times. We decided to co-parent, but she was incredibly distanced from the family. 4 months after she gave birth to my youngest son, she decided that she wasn't ready to be a mother and left. I haven't seen her since. Growing up, my mom envisioned a very specific life plan for me. She's always wanted to control my life, my education, career, and romantic relationships. My mom loved my ex-girlfriend, my son's bio mom. To her, she was the perfect woman. Even after I told her the details of my ex walking out on my family, she still adores her. My mom even blames me for her leaving me. Oh, you must have done something to make her leave. Oh, you probably didn't treat her like a gentleman, etc. It's emotionally taxing, and I don't speak to her much. To her, I'll always be a failure, a disappointment, and she has made her thoughts very clear to me. My girlfriend Fiona and I have been dating for 3 years. When I met her, I wasn't actively looking for a relationship, but I'm so incredibly happy I met her. She's wonderful, and I can't wait for her to officially be a part of my family. The boys love her as well. My youngest even call her mom, and I love her. My mom, of course, does not. She does not like Fiona at all, because she's not my ex, and thank God she isn't. And Fiona will never be good enough for her. My dad invited us to celebrate my mom's birthday. My dad told me that if I brought Fiona, he would ensure that there would be no drama. I wish it was a nice, calm afternoon spent with family. But my mom is a heavy drinker, and late into the afternoon after having way too much to drink, she starts playfully chasing my son around the yard. He got scared, crying and runs to Fiona. My mom, extremely drunk, begins to curse out a 7-year-old boy from running away from her. Fiona interjects and yells at my mom that she can't yell at her son. Her words. This sets mom off. After hearing Fiona refer to the children as her own, my mom begins ranting loudly about how Fiona will never be the boys' bio mom, their real mom, and how their real mother would have never poisoned their heads and caused them to be afraid of their own grandmother. Fiona is in shock, but I loudly yell back, "Maybe my kids are scared of you because you're a freaking monster." Fiona, the kids, and I left shortly after. My dad texted me. He told me that I shouldn't have called my mother a monster when she was clearly having a breakdown. My mom is having a hard time accepting Fiona, and hearing Fiona was probably the last straw. He's encouraging me to apologize before my mom apologizes. He wants to clear the air and everything to return to normal, but I don't want to do that. Not the a-hole. There is a difference between a breakdown and a tantrum. Your mom was having the latter. Personally, I wouldn't want someone in my life who treated me, my significant other, and my kids poorly. I was about to say, that's not a breakdown. That's an angry drunk. I'm somewhat at a loss for words here. Does Opie's dad see nothing wrong with an adult drunkenly chasing a child around until the child flees in terror to a safe adult? After that, it would have to skew severely sideways for me to think Opie could possibly be the a-hole. Not the a-hole. Nope. The father sounds like an enabling doormat. forever singing, "Sit down, you'll rock the boat." Not the a-hole. Your mom was being toxic, and if I were you, I would cut contact with her. I'm happy you seem to have met a lovely woman that sees your kids as her own. I wish you, Fiona, and the kids the best. Do not apologize. Your dad is enabling her behavior. Right. Opie, you need to go no contact with your mom. Your kids do not need to have those memories or such a toxic relationship in their lives. You suffered through it, but they don't need to. Also, marry Fiona. Clearly, she loves your kids and they seem to love her. And then, move. Release the toxicity from your life. Not the a-hole. Your father wants to keep the peace by not holding your mother accountable for her actions. It sounds like a bad environment for your family. You'd be well within your rights to go no contact or low contact with your mother. Spineless fathers and abusive mothers, a much too common occurrence. Everybody sucks here. Your mother for obvious reasons. You for continuing to subject your kids and Fiona to the company of a freaking monster. There's been plenty of history here. Don't act like your mother's behavior was some surprise. If you won't drop contact with your mother, at least interact with her on your own. Next story. Am I the a-hole for sarcastically congratulating my dad? So when I, 17 female, was 5, my dad left my mom and me. Since then, I saw him maybe 3 to 4 times at family functions. And from family, I found out he got married and had other kids. I figured he wouldn't have been a good dad, just because of the type of dad he's been to me my whole life. Yesterday was my great-grandma's 100th birthday, so we were doing a big party for her. A few days ago, I found out from my grandma my dad is going to be there, and more than likely with his kids. I was still going to go though, because I've always been close to my great-grandma. About an hour of me being at this party, my dad, his wife, and their 2 kids walk in. The kids were about 3 and 6 years old. I watched them off and on through the party. My dad was actually being a dad. He was playing with his kids and listening to them, even had cute nicknames for them. Then my dad came up to me and said pretty much, hey Opie, how have you been? It's, been a while. I will admit, I was upset seeing my dad act like the person he never was to me and has never put in the effort. So I said I'm okay, and then pointed over to his kids and said, congrats on actually being a dad this time around. My dad got mad and said he's sorry, but he can't change the past. But he never even puts up an effort now to call or text me or wants to come to visit me. I then had other family members tell me I need to grow up and get over it, and now be happy for my dad. So am I the a-hole? Now for the comments. Get over being abandoned by your father? More than your dad, his family is the a-hole. Clearly, they enabled him. Not the a-hole. 100% agree. Your father needs to own his crappy behavior and treat you with the respect you deserve. Also, Opie's still a minor. It's not like she's 35 with kids of her own and the ship has pretty much sailed on being a parent. Dad could absolutely still step up and be a parent to Opie now. But he's got his shiny new family and don't give a hoot, I guess. Absolutely pathetic. Opie's not the a-hole in the slightest. Not the a-hole. The past? Okay, then it's his responsibility to fix it in the present and for the future. His deadbeat bum didn't even try. If anything, you were too nice. Should have given a lot of choice words to him. It's not even the past. Opie is still a minor. He could be co-parenting her right now. Instead, he's treating her like an awkward ex at a high school reunion. Not the a-hole. Abandoned by your father, scorned by your family, plus sarcastic quips. This is the making of a real superhero's origin. So take your wings, my child, and dump buckets of bird poop on your villainous father and his minions, so that their outer appearances may resemble the crap they are on the inside. Not the a-hole. Your words are pure poetry, and true AF to boot. Last story. Am I the a-hole for telling my son he has to be respectful if he wants to live with us? My ex-wife and I got divorced 13 years ago when our son was 5. 2 years later, she moved to another city about an hour away. Our custody agreement was that our son would stay a month with me and 1 with her. But when the pandemic started, our son moved in with his mom because she lives in a house with a garden. During that time, we talked on the phone a lot and I'd pick him up on weekends. He started uni in April, and moved back in with me for that as it's closer for him. I don't expect him to pay rent, but he is supposed to help in the household. Not excessively, but picking up after himself and keeping his room clean. Last October, my girlfriend of 3 years and her daughter who is 5 moved in with me. My son didn't have a problem with that when he decided to move here. Most days, my son has uni until about 4 p.m. and will come home, make himself food, and then go to his room to study or go out with friends. The problem is that he often leaves a mess in the kitchen. I told my girlfriend not to clean up after him, as he is old enough to do that himself. But she still does it sometimes when she needs to use the dishes. I get home around 6 p.m., and if I see that there is still a mess, I will confront him about it. He usually grumbles a bit, but eventually cleans it up. Yesterday, came home to find the kitchen in absolute chaos, and my girlfriend close to tears in the living room. When I asked what happened, she told me my son had once again made himself something to eat but left everything he used out. This time she'd been in a hurry as she wanted to make her daughter a quick lunch before dropping her off at a birthday party, and didn't have time to clean up first. When she asked my son if he could put his used dishes away, he apparently got angry and told her to buzz off. He used few more words that I don't want to translate, and ended up shutting the door in her face. I went to his room to confront him, and he again told me to leave him alone. We had a fight, and I told him if he wanted to keep living here, he had to show some respect. Not only by cleaning up after himself, but also in the way he talked to my girlfriend. He then left to stay with a friend, but not before calling me an a-hole, and I haven't heard from him since. Part of me is thinking I shouldn't have let him move back because of his behavior. But on the other hand, he is my son, and it's very difficult to find a place to live right now, especially for students. So Reddit, am I the a-hole? If this is really the whole story, not the a-hole, your son should be expected to clean up, and the way this was communicated was not unreasonable. But I feel like there is more to the story. I feel like you and a lot of r/AITA readers usually want there to be more to the story. So it's a nuanced and complicated tale of morality and judgment. But the simplest explanation is often the correct one, and this would not be the first 18-year-old/college kid to be disrespectful to his step-parent and not clean up after themselves. On the flip side, these stories are always curated by one person. You assume that every poster is subjective when it's something many people aren't capable of. Info: could it be that there is more going on in the background? Did he know your girlfriend prior to living with her? Why is your girlfriend the one always at home? Could it be that she maybe said or did something you don't know about? Does she work and pay rent? Also, you didn't include any ages. How old are you and your girlfriend? Anyway, based on the info you gave, not a-hole, he is acting very entitled. My girlfriend works part-time so she can pick up her daughter from kindergarten, but will go full-time once her daughter gets older. I can't imagine anything serious happening between them without one or the other telling me about it. It isn't like they're spending the whole day together. It's mostly just 2 to 3 hours until I get home, and my son spends most of that time in his room. She does contribute to rent payments. I don't think our ages were relevant, but my son is 18, my girlfriend is 27, and I'm 37. Your requests are reasonable. Clean up after himself, and be respectful to other members of the household. Pretty easy asks, in my opinion, for free room and board. If he wants to be a slob, he's an adult. He can find somewhere else to live, not the a-hole. I'm actually surprised at this behavior because when he was staying with just me, he'd always do his chores and never talk to me this way when I reminded him. My kids were like this after their first year at university. They wanted to be viewed as adults, yet trashed the kitchen constantly. If I asked them to clean up, I was called a few choice words and was nagging. It worked out after some persistence on our part. We all laugh a bit about it now.